Okay, continuing on the Triumph badged BSA engined race bike. Yesterday I took the rear wheel all apart and discovered it needs new brakes and bearings, and did the bearings and ordered the brakes and a few other odds and ends. And today I'm just going to yank the front wheel off the bike and take a look at the bearings and the brakes in that and see what we see. So I'll make another video in a few minutes. Okay, front wheel is off and we'll take it apart and take a look inside. A little grungy. This nut in here has to come off. Do a little cleaning, take the nut off, take a look inside. The forks take 4 bolts on either side, 4 bolts and washers. And as with most race bikes, broken washer, missing washer, and this is a Whitworth nut instead of the good old standard US. So I'll replace the wrong nut, get the additional washers, and put it back together. Okay, as I said, this nut has to come off in order to release the brake plate and assembly. So that guy right in there has to be removed. If you try to turn it to remove it, it just turns the axle. So what I do is I put the bike wheel in the vise using soft jaws, aluminum plates, so that they don't damage the axle, rather than trying to clamp a pair of vice grips on it or something silly like that. That way it doesn't get all scarred up. So now with the wheel in the vise sideways and the axle secured, I'm going to try to take that nut off using basically the impact tool. Okay, this will be interesting. This is a deep well socket, a 1 1/8", I think. Yep, fits in there. I've got an adapter down to 3/8 drive because that's what my impact tool uses. Impact tool works better here because the shock breaks it free easier than trying to torque it. Less likely of the axle slipping using shock than torque. So let's see what happens. This is going to be fun. Oh, just that fast. Okay, the fun part of having the right tools is this could be a difficult job, but it was made easy. All right, this side of the wheel is held in by a circlip and a grease seal, and it's kind of grungy. So I've got the fancy dancy schmancy iPhone holder here videoing for me. We'll see if we can't do this and take this out as soon as I get it level. And at least this way we can actually see what we're working on. This is the part of working on bikes that nobody understands, or I won't say they don't understand, but they don't think about it. You know, you spend this much time just cleaning down to the parts you want to take out. It adds up. It's a lot of time. But it makes the parts come out a lot easier if you take the grunge off. for this application. Might work for cleaning carbs, but not for dissolving 40 or 50-year-old grease. Okay, so this does have holes for pliers. Let's see if we can get in here with these C-clip pliers. Break it loose, take it out. Good. Now, we don't try to take this grease seal out from this side. What we do is go to the other side and pound the axle through, and the axle will dislodge this. So anyway, we're ready to do that now. There's no way to really get it out from this side without destroying it. There's no need to. All right, now over here we hit the axle, it drives out the bearing on the other side. Oh, you're gonna love this. But that's the way we do it. That's the way I do it. Okay, there's your axle, the bearing, and the bearing retainer all popped out. What we do now is strip off all of this, turn it around, and use it to drive this bearing out from the other side. So you're working side to side. I'm just going to keep this video running rather than do bits and pieces and see how this goes. Okay. Once again, we do the wheel flip. Drop this in using the shoulder this time to go down through the bearing. And at this point, use it to drive out the other bearing. And there you go. Bearings out, axle out. This side has a retainer behind it, a grease seal, like behind the bearing. We can drive that out also from the other side because with sealed bearings, you don't need it. Now, that's you don't need it. I leave it in there just for spacing. There it goes. It's just a little grease seal to keep the grease in the old open bearings. So we now have an empty wheel. And I've got to call it a morning because I'm going to go up to Kevin's shop and do some work up there. But we got the wheel stripped. We know we need new bearings. If they're the same as the rear wheel, I'll change them. If I have them in stock, I'll change them right now. Otherwise, I'll order them. So new bearings, new brakes, new brake springs, and we'll put this back together at a later time. And that is all for right now. All right, well, this is Kevin's shop. We're walking. Here we go. All right.
Morning, Frank.
Hello. Hang on. Okay. And this is what we're working on today?
It is.
The yellow beezer.
That's right, with a 65 framed, 71 motor. The original tank was probably 68 or later. I'm clueless about the wheels, again, probably 68 or later.
Okay.
I'm using a Norton front brake cable with Japanese handguard. So
Other than that, it's straightforward bike.
yeah. And
Right.
one of the most interesting things I want to show you that I finally discovered I could not figure out, because normally, there's a spring back here for the return.
Yeah.
Well, it finally dawned on me, this is the return. Clever, unique. It's amazing how people can take lots of different things and make them into an effective motorcycle.
Okay.
But that took a lot of standing here staring, and that's a lot of what we do is stand around, stare, and think.
All right, so instead of the curl around,
Yep.
and
Yeah, there was no hole. It left me completely puzzled.
yeah,
Some of them have a bar that goes down here that the spring hooks onto, but like I said, I'm completely clueless as to
well,
what your wheel.
it's an interesting return spring. It works.
It works. It works. It's very effective.
All right, so we're going to finish up the wiring today.
Yeah, we've got a list of little niggling things to do because we also have what's supposed to be a standard chain guard on the 65 frame, but unfortunately, it's too tight. So we're gonna have to do a slight modification there.
Lift it up some.
Yeah, but all little modifications of little things. Nothing horrible, just, when you're working with a non-stock bike, it's what you do.
All right, well, here we go.